Right now, while you are watching this, your roof is absorbing heat like a cast iron skillet left on a burner. Every single hour of every summer day, that dark surface above your head is pulling in radiation and pushing it straight down into your living room. You are paying to cool a house that your own roof is actively cooking. Here is what changed everything for me. A $7 bag of powder, the same compound the Amish have been using for over 200 years, can drop the temperature inside your attic by 40 degrees or more. Not with electricity, not with a contractor, not with a 5-figure HVAC system. With a bucket, a brush, and one Saturday morning. The first time I walked into one of those old farmhouses outside Millersburg, Ohio, middle of August, 93 degrees out, I stood in the kitchen and waited. No hum, no compressor, kicking on, no vents blowing. The house was cool, not air conditioned, cool, something different. Something steady, something that felt like the house itself was breathing. I spent 20 minutes looking for the thermostat before I realized there was not one. That moment broke something open in my head. Everything I had been taught about keeping a house comfortable in summer started falling apart, piece by piece, and it has not stopped since. Before this video ends, I am going to show you the exact technique, the exact materials, and the exact method that makes this work. I am also going to show you a NASA mechanism from 1959 that was quietly removed from residential building manuals in 1991. Not banned, not disproven, just erased. And I am going to tell you who erased it and why. Whether you are building new or sitting in a house from 1972, every single thing I am about to share applies to you. You do not need to tear anything down. You do not need permission. Let me start with a number that should make you angry. The average American family spends $719 cooling their home every summer. Just cooling. That is not the furnace, not the water heater, not the lights. That is the price of fighting your own roof. A brand new central air conditioning system costs between $5,000 and $15,000 to install. Then you pay $150 or more every single month to run it. Over 10 years, you could be looking at $25,000 to $30,000 just to push heat out of a house that should never have been letting it in. Now, think about this. Where does that heat actually come from? Most people assume it is the outside air. It is 95 degrees out, so naturally the heat creeps in through the walls and windows. Seems logical. But that is not what the science says. The Department of Energy confirmed decades ago that 93% of the heat entering through your roof arrives as radiant energy, not hot air seeping through cracks, not warmth conducted through wooden beams, radiation, invisible infrared energy beaming down from the sun, absorbed by your shingles, and re-emitted straight into your attic space. On a summer afternoon in most of this country, the surface of a dark asphalt roof can reach 160 degrees. Bill Updike from the Smart Surfaces Coalition put it this way: you can literally burn your hands on these roofs. Your attic hits 140, sometimes higher. That superheated air presses down through your ceiling insulation, and your air conditioner fights it hour after hour after hour. It was never designed to win that fight. It was designed to keep running. And that is exactly what it does. Roofs cover up to 1/4 of the total surface area of a major American city. Think about that. 1/4 of every city in this country is a dark heat collecting surface, and every building underneath is running an air conditioner to compensate. The Amish figured this out without a thermometer, without a laboratory, without a government grant. They figured it out the way most real knowledge gets discovered, by paying attention over generations. Their roofs are not dark. They use metal. They use slate. They use light-colored surfaces specifically chosen to bounce sunlight away instead of absorbing it. But they did not stop there. For over 2 centuries, Amish families have applied lime wash, a simple mixture of hydrated lime and water, to exterior surfaces. Walls, barns, fences, foundations, and yes, roofs. It dries bright white, it reflects the sun, and it works in a way that goes far beyond what most people understand. Their houses are oriented with the long side facing north to minimize direct solar exposure on the widest wall. They build wide overhanging eaves and deep covered porches that throw shade across the exterior walls during peak sun hours. Their interior ceilings are high not for style, but because hot air rises and a tall ceiling keeps that heat far above the living space. They use thick walls made of stone or heavy timber, materials that absorb heat slowly during the day and release it gradually through the cool night. Engineers have a term for this thermal mass. The Amish just call it building properly. Some Amish families build parts of their homes partially below grade, partially underground to take advantage of the Earth's natural temperature. The ground stays around 55 degrees year-round, regardless of what the air above is doing. Their homes use large windows placed on opposite walls to create cross-ventilation, a steady breeze that moves through the house without any fan or motor. Every single one of these choices costs less than air conditioning. Most of them cost nothing at all. And then there is the summer kitchen, a separate structure detached from the main house, built specifically for cooking during hot months. The wood stove, the canning, the baking, all of it happens in a building that is not connected to where the family sleeps and lives. The heat from cooking never enters the main house. It is such an obvious, elegant idea that it makes you wonder why we ever stopped doing it. I read a post from a man who lives near an Amish community. He said his Amish neighbor told him once, "We do not fight the heat, we just do not invite it inside." That sentence has stuck with me ever since. This is not folklore. In 1973, researchers at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory ran an experiment that should have changed American construction forever. They took two identical flat roofs sitting side by side. One was dark, the other they coated with powdered limestone mixed with water, essentially the same compound as lime wash. The coated roof dropped 40 degrees Fahrenheit at the surface compared to the dark one. The interior temperature beneath it fell 8 degrees. No fans, no electricity, no moving parts, just physics and a white surface. But here is where it gets even more interesting. This was not new science. Even in 1973, the Minoans on the island of Crete were applying hydrated lime to their buildings 1500 years before Christ. That is documented archaeologically. The Egyptians used lime wash on the exterior walls of their houses and temples. It is one of the oldest known building coatings in human history. After the Great Fire of London in 1212, King John ordered every house along the Thames to be whitewashed within 8 days, not for cooling, but because lime is a natural fire retardant. The Persians built elaborate towers called Malkaf wind catchers and combined them with white-coated roofs to create passive cooling systems, so effective that Napoleon's artists drew detailed illustrations of them. When they arrived in Cairo in 1798, nearly every house had one. In the American Southwest, Native American women applied fresh mud to adobe rooftops every spring to maintain reflective properties and structural integrity, the same principle of seasonal reapplication that lime wash uses today. So why are American roofs dark? Why, in a country that spends $130 billion a year on heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, does nearly every house have a roof designed to absorb as much heat as possible? That question kept me up at night after I came back from Holmes County. I started pulling threads, and what I found was not a gap in knowledge. It was a gap that someone had carefully manufactured. There is an organization called the Asphalt Roofing Manufacturers Association, ARMA. Their members make the dark shingles sitting on your roof right now. And in state after state, ARMA has actively lobbied against ordinances that would require or even encourage reflective roofing. This is not speculation. This is on the public record. In March of 2025, in Tennessee, a lobbyist working with the roofing industry convinced State Representative Rusty Grills to strip the reflective roofing requirement from a commercial building energy code. The vote passed. Critics called it dangerous and deceptive. They said the new law would lead to higher energy costs and more heat-related deaths. Tennessee, one of the hottest states east of the Mississippi, now has weaker roof standards than it did the year before. Because someone who sells dark shingles asked a politician for a favor, Baltimore went through the same fight in 2022. ARMA lobbied hard against a cool roof ordinance, arguing that dark roofs were actually the more efficient choice for northern climates like Baltimore. Multiple independent studies showed that claim was flat wrong. Baltimore passed the ordinance anyway in 2023, but most cities never even try. Most cities never hear about it. The industry that makes EPDM, the black rubber membrane used on flat commercial roofs, funded its own research to declare that the benefits of reflective roofs were inconclusive. They also spread the claim that white roofs cause condensation and mold growth. Target, the retail chain, tested white roof coatings on more than 24 of their stores across different climates.